I was brought up in Sheffield in the 1960s. We were changing, but we were then a fairly monocultural city. Today, because people have come here from around the world to work, to study, and to seek sanctuary, last time I counted, we have people who owe their origins to 120 countries, speaking more than 160 languages. And I think we are a better, stronger, richer city because of that. And I'm often make the point in Parliament that I'm proud to represent what was the country's first city of sanctuary. But that only works not by kind of politicians in the town hall making declarations. It only works by communities on the ground embracing that idea of welcoming those who flee persecution and war and conflict. And unfortunately, looking at the situation in Eastern Europe, we will be looking to see more coming from Ukraine. And it works for organisations like yours step up to the mark and provide peer help and peer support. And I guess that our role as politicians is to see how we can enable that and encourage it. And that's something that we're certainly committed to do. What I'd be interested to know, because I know you had the successful bid to the Reaching Communities Fund.
Yes.
And also taking up Sam's point, the potential that the building has, is what your ideas are for next steps in terms of the way that we might be able to help. Because you identify the functions, and absolutely right in terms of education and I think also the social support, because John talks about the work you've been doing, Helen talks about how isolating it can be for somebody new to the city living in a hotel room. That sort of wider embrace and welcoming people to the city is important, giving them educational tools, giving them advice to navigate the city, giving them the first steps on the ladder of building lives here, hugely important. So I'd welcome knowing how you are thinking about using the Reaching Communities money to take the next steps, and what you see as your long-term plan to stability, because that's finite money for 12 months.
That's right. The main bid that we got, it was when we applied, is to create this advanced bureau, because Colin were with us before on voluntary basis, and he was doing a great job on voluntary basis. But then, when the numbers just grew, we needed to have him as a as an employee.
So you just welcome Dr. Hassan and the presentations here.
So Dr. Hassan is one of the study cases that he works with us. He works with the hotel, and he's got a very good relationship with the hotel. He's got a PhD, and we want to utilize that PhD. So he's done a great job while he was at the hotel, and now he's got his status, he's got his family. So life is changing. Within 1 year, he's done a massive improvement on achievement. And he just came back from the college. He's attending, and he wants to be all the time. So that's one study case. The other study case is Ricky. Ricky, for example, is a British person who left England when he was 4 years old. Okay, sorry, I've stopped what we were saying, but I'm just bringing them into the case. He's a British person, 21-year-old. He left this country when he was 4. He came back to the country asking for support. There's no support for the guy. Why? Because he is not entitled to have child residence, and he's got nothing to, from the government before 3 months. And that's, to be honest, is very difficult obstacle. The guy, he went with his mom to Ethiopia. After that, 17 years in Ethiopia, he doesn't know anything about England. Come back, first phase, he's seen us. So since then, Ricky is improving but day by day. So we have to apply for his national insurance number, driver license, where he lives, and now he's getting a job. Sorry?
Registered with the GD.
Registered with GD. So all these things, for somebody who's new to the country, it's like new to the country, even though he's British. He's new to nobody can support. I spoke to the council, what's this case? And they come back after asking, no, we cannot do anything. I said, okay, So we spoke to other organizations, smaller, like DPOL, they supported the accommodation and this, and we start moving on. So every day, Ricky is with me from starting 9 o'clock until 5, until I take him wherever he's going to stay that night. So it's these missing things on the system that, you know, probably political, they don't see it, if I can make it right. Because as a person coming, he's a very clever guy, very educated, nice educated guy who wants to go for, what do you want to do, Ricky?
Cardiology.
Pardon?
Cardiology.
Cardiology. You know, you can't find words to explain it. But then the smile by the end of the day, and yesterday we were talking to your mom.
Yeah.
And video camera, she was, you know, very happy. That's where he went and where he is now, just in a few days, and things are moving on. So back to your question, Paul. That's a very important question. Thanks for that. What I'm thinking, our biggest obstacle at the moment is purchasing probably this building, because I could see that it's like moving and we're doing the services and that we want it for the community. We do not want it for a personal purchase or for a business to do flats or anything like that. We want it to be for the Andalus Community Centre, for the charity, and so we can plan better. Because even though we've done all this, there's a lot to do. It's like, for example, I want to approach people or saving energy and things like you said earlier, energy is going up. We cannot do it unless with the permission of the landlord. And the landlord, unless I am the landlord, then we've got, or our like charity is the landlord, we cannot insulate the building, we cannot do a lot of improvement. And that's when we approach the council, and that's when I'll discuss that if you want later on in deep details about where we are with the council on this one. But the fund that we've got at the moment is covering all the salaries for people who are doing the advisory for a year. Like you say, at least we know what's for this year, but we're also planning for how we're going to continue after this year. We're not starting until this finish and looking for next year. Our next plan for the next 5 years, make sure we are, you know, we're stable, like you say, and moving on. I hope that answer your question. I'll give you, if that's okay with you, Dr. Absalam, we'll switch lights off and give 2 minutes just watching.
Thank you very much. Just to see this video, please.
During the pandemic, by the way, all this coming.
We can to help.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for the time you shared with us. Thank you to Ms. Tisab Mohammed, the Councillor Kim. Thanks for joining us with Mr. Paul. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you, Mr. Hammond. Thanks to everyone here. This is the first visit, but we hope it's not the last one. All of you are very, very welcome to our community at any point, at anything, and we are happy. Now, after the chairman permission, I would like to invite you for kind of coffee, tea, and some sweets that we can share and have our casual meeting. Welcome.